Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A fresh start to the week on Monday, where we are looking at a gap up as far as the Nifty and other indices are concerned, especially defense stocks, and that's mainly because of the ceasefire that has been agreed upon by the Indian and Pakistani militaries over the weekend. Let's start with a lot of footage that most of you have seen over the weekend, but such is the quality of footage and the work that India's military has done in decimating Pakistan's infrastructure that a repeat is definitely called for. These, ladies and gentlemen, are shared by the Indian military setup as far as the events of last 3 days are concerned, in which the military conflict between India and Pakistan has settled comfortably and totally in favor of India, and that's visible in a lot of other images that you will see on air, including the decimated air bases of Pakistan. As far as India is concerned, the very aggressive posture that India maintains in the North Arabian Sea, the kind of damage, in fact the kind of death that has been rained on the Pakistani military by the Indian military has been over and over emphasized over the weekend, whether it is decimated air bases, whether it is the kind of damage that has gone into Pakistan's air defenses, the kind of damage that has happened to Pakistan's military psyche, and of course the ceasefire that has happened on India's terms. More importantly, at 12 noon today, the Indian DGMO and the Pakistani Director General of Military Operations will again talk to work out the modalities of the ceasefire, and India has maintained that it retains the right to strike at terror and take it as an act of war. This, ladies and gentlemen, was India's response. These are the decisive hits that you are seeing on air, well documented, nothing to be questioned about, and this is the damage India has caused by its sustained military campaign over 3 days. The deaths of Pakistani terrorists right there in front of you, damage to its infrastructure on the LOC, and more importantly, hitting strategic and important air bases within, deep inside Pakistan, next to Islamabad, next to Rawalpindi, closer to the Punjab border, closer to the border in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. All these, ladies and gentlemen, have been well documented, and you will now see the impact of this sustained, very successful military campaign on the Indian markets. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we start our morning coverage on Monday. I'll request the PCR to kindly fire the chart of the GIFT Nifty. What we are seeing is a gap up. A gap up to the extent of about 446 points on the Nifty, 1.85% higher. My feeling is that this gap up will now change into a trending day. See the gap up that you see on the markets. This is the GIFT Nifty daily chart. It is showing a 447 point gap up. The high, intraday high, was 24,611. We are thereabouts that at this point of time, and my expectation is that the gap up will change into a trending day, which means that the Nifty will open up and then continue to rise throughout the day making a higher 5-month high in the markets. What will propel the markets higher? The conditions of the ceasefire, which are completely in India's favor, the decimation of Pakistan's military, in particular air defense and strategic infrastructure in bases, and therefore you will need to keep in mind stocks that are from the defense space. Akash Tir, an anti-air defense which was made up by BEL, has been one of the most successful defense equipment that has worked immensely well over the last 4 or 5 sessions, and you will see the impact of Akash Tir's success on BEL in trade today. BEL, ladies and gentlemen, is already close to its record high. The counter closed 2.8% higher at 315 on Friday. Remember, Friday was a day when the Nifty fell down because of ongoing tensions, and the all-time high is 338 on BEL that was hit on 11th of July 2024. I have no doubt in my mind that this stock will now move towards an all-time high. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from that, we will also be focusing on the pharmaceutical space. Late evening today, President Donald Trump of the US, which is the largest exporter, the largest importer of India's top quality drugs, will sign an executive order reducing prices of many pharmaceutical products by 30 to 80% in a bid to bring down the expense that US does on medical and medicine purchases. Remember, US's GDP is to the extent of about $21–22 trillion, and it spends about 20% of that GDP on pharmaceuticals, whether it's buying costly medicines, whether it is buying very expensive medical help or hospitals, etc. So that is the reason why you will see Indian pharmaceutical companies inch lower in trade today, because of the top 5 pharmaceutical companies in India, about 45 to 60% of their revenue comes in from the US. So that's a bit of a bummer as far as Indian prices are concerned. So 2 sets of stocks, ladies and gentlemen, will have volatile trade today. Definitely the entire defense pack led by BEL. I'll request the PCR to kindly show the longer term charts of BEL, BDL, BEML, and especially the 3 shipbuilders, which is Mazagaon Docks, Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Cochin Shipbuilders. The equipment sent by these Indian defense makers has performed really well in the last 4–5 days. The Indian military has decimated and pulverized Pakistani military assets thanks to many of the equipment sent by these 5 or 6 companies, and that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, you will see a very sharp bounce coming into these companies in today's trade. More importantly, many of these companies have risen in the last 1 month or so, but overall they are far below their all-time highs. So those highs are likely to be coming back into the market as we progress towards the day. So a gap up on the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, a very strong show on defense counters, and of course a bit of a negative move on pharma shares. The Nifty has opened, ladies and gentlemen, 384 points higher, 1.4% up at 24,371. This is the gap up that I had mentioned will happen. Let's look at the top 10 players as far as the index heavyweights are concerned, and there is a very strong move coming into State Bank of India, up 5.9%, Tata Motors up 5.9%, ICICI Bank up 5%, Hindustan Unilever up 4.5%. These are stocks that are doing immensely well in trade. Let's look at the index heavyweights. HDFC Bank is now 2.66% higher in pre-open trade. I'll request the PCI to kindly show us the prices from the pre-open. The Nifty is now 451 points higher at 1.9% in terms of gains. Yes, fantastic. Now please show the stock price of HDFC Bank, 2.6% higher. Remember, this is the heaviest weighted counter in the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. So the gap up is in place, followed by ICICI Bank, 5.8% higher on ICICI Bank to a fresh record high of 1527. You also have prices coming in on Reliance, flat at 1379. What we'll also do is look at defense. And as I had said, it's a gap up on companies like defense maker Zen Technologies, 5% higher, 1476. Bharat Dynamics, the maker of all the ammunition that you see whizzing overhead and falling deep into Pakistan, creating havoc and decimating their infrastructure, 4.5% higher on BDL at 1600. Look at Midhani, the company which is making special alloys for all the ammunition and missiles that have hit deep into Pakistan, 4.5% higher. Masgaon Dock, 3.5% higher, heading towards a fresh high. BEL, ladies and gentlemen, the star of the day will be BEL, 2.9% higher on 325. iTrack 4, 8, 16, 22 defense counters. All 22 of them, ladies and gentlemen, are in the green. The gains are anywhere between 1.1% on MR Tech to 5.35% on a company called POCL, Pondy Oxides. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the structure. The gains on the Nifty are getting higher and higher, 428, 445 now, 24,454. Now let us see how the markets are moving. We are joined by Vaishali Parekh, VP Technical Research and Analysis at Prabhudas Leeladhar. Namaste Vaishali and a very warm welcome. I have always maintained that you are our lucky mascot, and the gap up is what a lot of luck and hard work, and of course the fabulous performance of the Indian military, may God bless them as much as he can, is with us. How do you react to this gap up? Will you be selling or will you be buying into a possible trend?
Very good morning, Shelji. And of course, time to say really Jai Hind and gratitude to our Prime Minister, our Indian Air Force and Army. I mean, remarkable. We are blessed. So, yes, technically, I would still go on technical parameters. Well, we are seeing strength in the opening, but we need to sustain about 24,550 levels. So, this is the range that we have been witnessing since quite some time, 23,800, which we last week saw 23,950 or so making a low, and 24,500, 550 is the resistance level. So once we see a clarity of Nifty going further high, then yes, we are seeing further strength. But on an immediate basis, no harm booking profit at 24 at the opening.
Okay. What's interesting, Vaishali, is the Nifty actually went down substantially in the last 10 odd minutes of trade on Friday, and a lot of people would have shorted their positions and taken a short home, expecting markets to open a lot lower on Monday. So that short covering, ladies and gentlemen, will start from 9:15 onwards, and those shorts will be taken to the cleaners. Trust me when I say that there is most likely to be a trending day today on the Nifty, which is a gap up, and beyond the gap up, you will see the Nifty rising further. Only time will tell, but let's hope this happens. Now, Vaishali, according to you, which are the strongest defense charts that you see on your software? What looks good for a further up move?
Well, so I would say actually, as a disclaimer, we have recommended Pura Defense Basket to our clients. So to start with, on the frontline basis, of course, we have HAL, which has got scope of going towards 5,000, 5,200 levels. Then BEL is on the verge of a breakout. DCH system, which was shown on the radar, so about 300, 320, I think this will go towards 380, 400. Zentech, all these still have a lot of upside. Cochin Shipyard, Mazgaon Docks, they have already surged very high. So the bias remains positive, but I think, buying opportunity rise in Garden Reach, HAL, as I said. So these are the stocks that I am looking at.
Okay, so we'll keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as far as HALBEL is concerned. As I have been saying since morning, we have a huge uplift that is coming into Indian equities. 24,500 is a level that Vaishali has mentioned, which the Nifty might see some selling pressure or resistance. That's very well taken, but you have 24 440, 450 on the screen, up 440 points. Vaishali, what had also happened in the last 15 days was a very sharp run up that had happened on the banking space, in particular ICICI Bank, record high. How are you seeing the charts? Where is it headed?
So talking about Bank Nifty, first of all, I think technically it is just a retracement and taking support at, I think, one of the moving averages. So I would say on near-term basis, 53,500 should take as a support. But if it sees further more erosion, even as long as 52,500 is held on, there's no damage to the trend. Now, talking about ICICI, already an outperformer and doing very well. So I think we did see some profit booking. What is important is that we should not break the Friday's low, that is of 1387 levels. If we see that, then there could be further profit booking coming in that. But I think otherwise the trend is pretty much intact. But the focus lies for buying opportunity. I would say Axis Bank needs to buck up. Then the PSU banks, Union Bank, Canara Bank, SBI, of course, as you said, was showing the indication on Friday itself that it was showing some strength. I would look at these stocks for new buying opportunities.
Okay. Welcoming my very dear friend Vineet Bolinchkar to the conversation, Head of Research at Ventura Securities. Vineet, I would love to see a smile.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. Now tell me, what do you think will happen to defense stocks? And also, I need your view on what is the likely reason that the ceasefire was struck. I know you track a different part of the world which is often not known, which is geostrategy. What do you think has happened, and what are your thoughts? Let's go with that first.
So, I'll keep it very brief. Is that, when India struck them in increasing patterns of engagement, they went and struck the Sargodha Hills, the hills near Sargodha and another place called uh, near Jacobabad, which houses the nuclear arsenal of the Pakistani army. And we struck them with BrahMos missiles. And what has happened is, at least as far as Sargodha has got some 6, 7 tunnel entrances. We struck on 5 of them, and these caused the nuclear material to explode within the mountains themselves. And the explosions caused earthquakes on the Richter scale of 4 in the case of Sargodha, and almost 5.4 on the other site. And this led to the fact that their uh, their nuclear this thing got decimated completely. And the Indians took that in action, because we had destroyed their air bases, and then the only option that was left was for the Pakistanis to escalate one step ahead. And the mullah gang was asking them to go nuclear, and the army did not want to go, but you know how the country is ruled by the mullahs. So that decimated. India informed the Americans, and the second base that I spoke to you about, that has been decimated in spite of the fact that they had got American protection. Later on, a airplane from the Americans flew there to check radioactivity leaks. There are some radioactivity leaks that are happening, and uh, India has got a graded four layered defense system, and it is called Akash Tir. And this entire Akash Tir, which has been used in the operation, is 100% Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Yes.
And this is a very, very important aspect of India's defense, that we have been able to indigenize our own defense capabilities to the point where the precision guiding that is there is to the extent of 1 meter. So if you just think you have a small car which is about 2 meters wide and 4 meters long, or you take a tank which is going which is of about 3 meters wide and about 4 meters long, you know those tanks also can be blown up with precision guided missiles that the Indian Army has been using. And the other thing what the Indian Army has done is that we've had an ancient arsenal, the legacy arsenal which is there, that has been modernized, that has been extended. The old legacy arsenal has been extended to be part of the Akash team. So what has happened is you upgraded your defense equipment, you lowered the cost, and made it absolutely modern.
Yes.
And this is going to ring a bell in global defense industries,
Exactly.
that you don't need to go with American or other Chinese things, and you have an option which is India, and which is available at cheaper costs. So
Right.
to my mind, that is a very, very strong statement. And Indian defense, because of this, is going to go through the roof over the next few years.
Right. So we will show you footage of the Akash missile, the Akash Tir, that Vineet so brilliantly explains in a while. And let's get Vaishali into this conversation. Vaishali, a view on BEL for the medium term. All time high is 338. Let's get your view in, and then we'll ask Vineet on what the fundamentals are in terms of valuations for BEL. But first, you go ahead.
So I would say technically, of course, it was showing strength, a new round of momentum, good volume, good candle formation on Friday itself. So for me, right now, 340 is the target resistance. Above that, if it goes and sustains, then I'm looking at 370.
Right, 370. Now, valuation wise, Vineet, what would you say on BEL? It's a stock that has seen better days earlier, but has been on a tear over the last 3 months or 2 months or so. What are the valuation parameters on BEL telling you?
So I think it's a consensus trade that 325 to 350 is a good target on the Lal Street. And my sense is that while it may look a little bit, not having very large upside, I think the order flows that will come through
Yes.
are going to drive this growth. So, we should be tracking the order flow more than the price at this extent. And so while the stock may look, near to valuations, good valuations, I think there's still more upside remaining from here.
Okay, and if I may add to the very nice process that Vineet has explained on defense orders, both Chinese and American defense equipment comes with a lot of uh, unwritten and intangible things that you can do and you can't do. But Indian equipment is not as such, and therefore he is very right in saying watch defense orders. These, ladies and gentlemen, are footages that you see of Akash Tir being shot in the sky, and as very rightly Vineet points out, they have been immensely, immensely successful. The markets are with us, ladies and gentlemen. Just allow me 2 minutes to get into what is happening. A gap up on the Nifty, 442 points. 24,450 is with the bulls, and it's accelerating, ladies and gentlemen. As I had said, it will be a trending day. The bank Nifty is higher than the Nifty, 2.3% higher. up 1237 points. This is getting better and better, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just mark the top performers as far as the Nifty is concerned. HDFC Bank 2.2% higher, ICICI Bank 2% higher, BEL taking it away 2.2% higher. Let's look at the entire defense space where you see a very strong set of gains coming in. 5% circuit on Zen Technologies. This is a drone maker. Midhani is 5% higher, 333. This makes special alloys for artillery shells as well as missiles. Masgao Dock 3.5% higher. BDL 3.2% higher. BEML 2.8% higher. Garden Reach, Cochin Shipyard and Masgao Dock, all three in very strong gains. The Nifty is now accelerating above 24,500. I told you in the morning we'll have a trend day. Vaishali, coming first to you, will you buy the Nifty at this level?
No, I'll wait for a little bit of stability. Let's see some profit booking and then I'll buy it lower.
Fair point. The top gainer as far as the markets are concerned on the NSE 500 is none other than Bombay Stock Exchange, 6% higher, almost 7,000 on this one. Yes Bank, no stopping it, 4% higher, 20.84. Let's get our friend Vineet into the conversation. A quick view, Vineet, on BSE and of course the new darling of the market, Yes Bank. Vineet, you'll have to unmute.
So the market share shift has been very much in line with BSE. And we had initiated BSE just about a couple of months back at about 4,200. While we had kept the target at 54, what we had said is on a 3 to 5 year basis, BSE, if the present trends of market share normalization or equalization continue, then BSE could be a 3 to 5x gainer depending on that. So we continue to be extremely positive on BSE, track the stock with a view of 3 to 5 years, and it may look optically expensive, but the way the profitability growth we have seen in Q4 is just a trailer of things to come.
Wonderful. What a wonderful explanation on Yes Bank and BSE. Vaishali, early times yet, but 550 on the Nifty. And let's look at the broader market as well. I think the biggest rejoicing that's happening on this conclusively definitive victory that the Indian military forces have had over Pakistan is in the market. I can't remember an advanced decline ratio like I'm just telling you. 2,115 shares on the green on NSE versus 125 that are in the red, and many of them would be in the pharma space, which we'll touch a bit later. So 10:1 as far as the advanced decline space is concerned. All 19 indices are in the green. The top performer, ladies and gentlemen, is the Nifty Metals Index, 3.5% higher. Nifty Realty is also 4.3% higher. Let's look at what the Midcap Index is doing. The Midcap 100 Index, ladies and gentlemen, is in strength, 2.9% higher. Of the 100 stocks in the Midcap Index, 96 are in the green. Forget Midcap. Look at NSE 500, 2.5% higher. 487 stocks out of 500 are in the green. So it's a blowout that's happening on many indices, such as the Nifty FMCG Index, the Nifty Auto Index, the Nifty Realty, Metal and Energy Index. All stocks are in the green. So advanced decline is full is to zero. NSE Small Cap 100 Index, 99 stocks are in the green, and this rally is getting better and better. Any stock that is catching your interest, Vaishali, in the defense space, anything that can be purchased according to you?
So I would say why not look at Bharat Forge? I think this too has got defense, if I'm not mistaken, and it is showing strength. A lot of upside potential. So 1100 would be the near-term support, and if this momentum continues, this can go towards 1300 levels. So Bharat Forge is one of the stocks that I would be focusing on. But yes, of course, I still continue to have a positive bias on Hindustan Aeronautics and the others.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the short covering has started to kick in. 24,580 on the Nifty. This is getting better and better. So the trend has started, which essentially means a gap up and then the Nifty starts to rise, because all those folks who had gone short on the market are now covering, because 24,500 is with the bulls. A quick comment from you, Vineet, on the structure of the opening trades that we've seen. What is the top highlight according to you, Vineet? I think Vineet is so busy taking trades that he's unable to hear. We'll get him back on the show. But for the moment, let me just take you with the top gainers. The Bombay Stock Exchange is now 4.9% higher, ladies and gentlemen. There is a huge move that is coming into the volume part of the market. The top traded counter, of course, is BSC, already 560 crores traded. Yes Bank is 4% higher. Strong move coming into Indigo, 7.5% higher at 5,480. I'll also pay attention to now the Pharma stocks. Remember, Pharma is the only index in the red, and the top Indian exporter to the US for Pharma, Sun Pharma, a part of the Nifty, is down 5.5%. Aurobindo Pharma is down 2%. Biocon is down 1.1%. And of course, you see a sell-off on, not exactly a sell-off, but a downtick on Lupin, Divi's Lab, 1.4, 1.9% lower. So all are the pharma stocks that are in pain at the moment. A view on Sun Pharma, Vaishali?
So I think Sun Pharma did give quite a good run up all these days, and now it's open with a gap down. So we need to wait and watch. 1600 is the previous low. I think 1620, yes. So if that low does not act as a support, and if these levels are broken, then we may see a further erosion. So I'll wait for 1620 as to how the stock behaves at 1620.
Let's get Vineet into the conversation if we can. Vineet, this blow by the US president on pharmaceutical stocks in terms of reducing US drug prices by a presidential ordinance, what do you think? I think there is a disconnect with Vineet. Maybe his trades are more important at that point of time, and why not? Let's look at what is happening across the board, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just take you through volume buzzers. So for the moment, when you see the NSE 500, the broader index, volume is coming into banks. So you have Bank of India up 0.5%, but the volume is already one time its 5-day average, about 83 lakh shares. Okay, what else is moving which can look at a lot of, okay. Vineet is now back with us. Vineet, a comment on the opening quotes on the Nifty as also the broader market. What do you think the market is analyzing in terms of this comprehensive military victory that we've had over Pakistan?
So, it is speaking of the resilience of the Indian markets.
Yes.
And I believe that, the kind of bottom that we made, I think 24,000 on the Nifty would be a very strong support level in the days to come. So I think those who have been staying out of the markets, fearing tentativeness, given the various events that have been occurring over the last few months, I believe that this is presenting you the resounding buying opportunity across the various indices, small cap, mid cap, large cap, and definitely on any kind of declines, one should be entering this market for the long term.
Okay, let me just highlight the broader points which is looking good on macro. Bond yields in India have hit a 4-year low at 6.3%. It essentially means that if you are looking for long-term loans to fund your factories and your business, those costs are reducing. That's a very big plus. Consumer price inflation is at 3.34% in India, which is at a 6-year low. GST collection for the month of April was at a record high. It crossed 2 lakh crores a month. So that's a new benchmark that we are setting. And of course, crude oil prices at a 4-year low. all put together, ladies and gentlemen, is something that is very, very positive for the Indian equities, as is visible by foreigners starting to buy back again. A comment on this one, Vineet. Last 12-15 days, 45,000 crores has come back into the Indian market thanks to our foreign friends. What changed their outlook?
See, it is very important to read the commentary that the government dishes out, rather than get caught in the entire mayhem of confusion that is there. The government always said that, ours is a calibrated response and we are hitting terrorism. Now, the fact that the terrorism got manifested and set up in the military, obviously the military targets were going to get hit. And despite all the ante of the emotions, Indian military always followed a calibrated response. They clearly said that we want to hit terror and we don't want to hit Pakistan, and they've been doing that exactly. And this is the message which the foreigners have been using to buy into the Indian markets, because they know that in these kind of situations is the only time where they will get stock very, very cheap in bulk to enter these markets.
Okay, as good a time as any to look at the bank Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. 44, 1423 points higher. Let me just check whether we've taken out the previous record high or not. I have this feeling. No, we haven't. The previous record high, which was at 56,000, was hit on 23rd of April. Vaishali, a gap up on the bank Nifty. Is this a swing trade in the making?
So I would say it is showing a lot of strength, and I not only will is it likely to retest the previous high, but I think it can go a bit higher towards 57,000. So my view would be positive with 53,000 as stop loss.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to mark record highs in the market. This is a very well-known thought process. Follow where the money is going in. Forget what the broader market is doing. In this case today, we have discussed the Bombay Stock Exchange, 7% higher, 7,033. Remember, this run-up is also because of the 2:1 bonus that will now soon get impacted on the prices. SRF, I'll come to you, Vineet, on SRF. 1.8% higher, 3,060. Coromandel International is a fertilizer maker, 2% higher at 2,387. SIAT Limited, tire maker, lower raw material prices and a price hike in the fourth quarter is pushing this to a record high, 2% higher, 3832. And of course, we have Bharti Hexa, which is making subsequent highs. To you both, Vineet and Vaishali, SRF. Vineet, you first. A 5-year breakout on SRF, what is happening?
So, the refrigerant business is doing quite well. And, they've done a very large capex of about 15,000 crores. That is also now beefing up capacities and coming on stream. So, we believe that this stock can do very well going ahead.
Okay. What are the charts telling you, Vaishali, on SRF?
So, well, the near-term data says that it's gone through a very long-term consolidation, but having said that, it still has its strength. So, near-term target comes to 3,200. So, if we see the stock moving above 3,200, it's ready for higher targets as well. So, buy at every decline with 2,850 as support level.
Okay. The first 15 minutes have passed, Vaishali. I will not let you go. I want a comment on the Nifty. Now it's gathering fresh strength, much above 24,580. First 15 minutes have lapsed. Now you have no excuse. You will have to tell me what to do with the Nifty. Sell this or buy it?
Buy it.
See, that's the clarity that's needed, and that's why we get Vaishali so often. The first 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, the bar is made by institutional investors. So you get to see what the trend is. Are they buying the gap up or are they selling into it? So after the 15 minutes have lapsed, we see the market gathering fresh momentum. Shortly you will see on the screen 24,600 coming your way. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the short covering. All those folks who went short on the market on Friday evening, seen the downtick or the escalating military blow up between India and Pakistan are now covering their shorts as if they are going out of fashion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why you see this very, very strong gap up. I had told you right in the morning that you will see a gap up and then a trending day. That trending day has now started. Let's get back to the heaviest weighted counters on the NSE and tell you what is happening as far as the top gainers are concerned. It's right there in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. Look at HDFC Bank, look at ICICI Bank, look at how strength is coming back into Tata Motors. I have 10 index heavyweights in front of me. All 10 of them are in the green. In fact, on the Nifty, I think apart from Sun Pharma and Cipla, the pharma space, all 48 stocks are in the green, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the strength with which the market is rising. To you, Vineet, a view on Tata Motors. This is something that's coming back with a vengeance. How do you see it?
We value Tata Motors at 800 bucks. And after, the pricing on international cars is going to come down in the UK FTA, we are going to see, JLR being one of the biggest beneficiaries. There are good signs also coming in from the US because they've signed a deal with the UK. So I think things are going to look pretty good out there, and Tata Motors will definitely do well going ahead.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tata Motors has seen a painful time. Let's get Vaishali into the conversation. All-time high of almost 1180, which we saw in July of last year, and then a significant 40% fall, mainly on account of many problems that it felt. But the India UK FTA has added fresh life to this stock. Vaishali, what are the medium term charts telling you?
So, Shailji, we have been tracking this stock very minutely. I mean, I think 560 was the bottom that was made, and from there on, it's making higher bottom. So, for the near term purpose, I would say 640 is the support, and it's coming out of its consolidation. This can go to 800, 820.
Okay. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's again revisit the market. As I have pointed out, 24,600 is on the screen, and it's a wild rally that's happening on the Bank Nifty. Again, I'll request the PCR to kindly show the Bank Nifty in front of you. 55,127, 1,534 points higher. Your favorite bank, Vineet, this is a gap up, and I have at least no doubt in my mind that we'll see a record high on the Bank Nifty fairly soon. What are you betting on, Vineet?
So I think if you see the private banks, I think HDFC Bank looks very good. And if you see the PSU banks, I think PNB is very underrated. So these are the two banks that I would put my money on.
Vaishali, we've discussed PNB threadbare many times. What do you think are the charts telling you? The numbers were fairly good this time.
So I think 90 is a good support to observe, and it needs to cross 96, 98 levels decisively. If this stock sustains about 98, it's ready for a target of 105. So it's a favorable risk reward ratio. But besides that, I do like Union Bank as well.
Yes, actually Union Bank fourth quarter was phenomenal as well. They had come up with a dramatic rise in fourth quarter profit, and of course a dip in NPAs and gross NPAs as well. Apart from this universe that you talk about, Vineet, HDFC Bank and Yes Bank plus PNB, anything in the mid-cap private banking space that catches your attention? Maybe a CSB Bank or City Union Bank, anything
So
in that
City
space?
Union Bank is what we have, uh, you know, uh, initiated on, and City Union Bank is a class act by itself. 100 years of profitability, seen everything possible, positive, negative. So they know the ropes. Growing at 15% measured growth rate, which is far better than the industry growth rate, and with MSME getting so much support from this government through across various budget allocations, I think this bank will do rather well from the mid cap space.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, now let me just take a detour into the FNO space. So, entire pharma is down, which is about 20-25 stocks on the FNO space, led by, of course, Sun Pharma. So, the advanced decline is dramatic. I think 260 stocks to 220 is what the advanced decline in FNO is. Okay. Now, the gainers. HFCL, something that Vineet is very fond of. We'll discuss HFCL in some detail a little later. 7.5% higher. Indigo, with the ceasefire in place, there are chances that normal flights on all airports which are on the western periphery of the Indian map will start, and that's the reason why you see Indigo 7.5% higher. The fact that crude oil prices are 4-year low is also a very, very big benefit for them. Escorts for some reason is up 7%. I'll have to check why. And of course, you have Adani Enterprises going 6.5% higher. Anything, Vaishali, that you are catching in the market worth mentioning?
Yes, I mean, there are quite a few stocks. As we discussed, middle sector is also doing very well. So again, focus lies on Hindalco, Vedanta. These are the stocks. JSL. JSL came with good, decent results also, and technically still a lot of scope for upside. So these are looking good to me for a positional trade perspective. And in banking stocks that you were talking about, I do like the chart of CSB Bank as far as the cash counter is concerned. Very good trend maintained. 340 acts as a support, and looking at the weekly chart as well as a positional buy, this would go towards 400, 420. So, well, stocks with good trend, I would focus on those right now.
Okay. In terms of the metal index, ladies and gentlemen, this is amongst the top two gainers. The metals index, yes, it's the top two gainers, 3.75% higher at 8,735. And as I've been mentioning, all those indices where all stocks of the index are in the green. So, metal is one of them, which is 15 stocks from the metals index are in the green. Let's look at the top performer in the metal space. It's Hindustan Copper, 5.5% higher. Steel Authority of India, 4.6% higher. And of course, you have Hindustan Zinc, you have Vedanta. Vedanta is something that's been highlighted by Vaishali already. Vineet, would you have a view on the metal space?
So, with interest rates down in India, and internationally, the uh, yields are not coming off. Uh, there's a little bit of dichotomy out there. So I don't think anything will pick up in as much of a hurry as you expect. But long term, definitely, US debt is unsustainable, and interest rate should, and metal rate should start reflecting that. So if you want to get into metals, you will have to wait for a little while before you get into them.
Okay, fair point. Anything that catches your fancy, Vineet? We've had now almost 15 plus 8, 23 minutes of trade. What catches your interest on the volume as well as price?
So I think we are you should be looking at Adani stocks.
Okay,
Uh, I believe that the kind of metrics that will come out from them will astound the world in the
okay,
next few quarters, because Adani is going to put an asset base of 7 lakh crores in the next 3 to 4 years, which is the asset base of Reliance itself as of today. So this is the kind of capex that is coming through the entire group. We are going to see, EBITDA grow at about the group grow at about 20-25%. Uh, EBITDA levels growing faster than that, and the debt actually coming off. And if you take the large 4-5 groups that are there, their debt and profits have more or less moved in tandem. So, you have a lot of operating leverage now kicking in the group. And, if you take all their assets, they're front ended, they're very centric to India's infrastructure. And, they've got locked in profits for the next 30, 40 years with very high ROEs. You don't get those kind of businesses at the valuations that are prevailing here purely because of Hindenburg.
Okay. Tell me quickly your top 3 picks within the Adani group based on what you've just said.
So I think if you want to have a 3 to 4 year view and a multi-bagger look at Adani gas, Adani green is a very strong momentum short and medium term play, and Adani energy follows that.
Okay. Your favorite stock, Vaishali, within the Adani space, what looks good?
Well, I would look at Adani Port. It's
Okay.
already in a trend, open gap up. So I
Yeah.
think 1300 should act as a near-term support, and it can go to, 1500 as a near. I'll just see the levels 1 minute. So Adani Port 1350 is the price right now. 1300 acts as a near-term support, and this can go towards 1500, 1550.
Oh, okay, okay. Would you want to step in on Adani Total Gas?
I'll have a look.
Okay, this is something that is very dear to Vineet's heart, and let us see what Vaishali has to say. Remember, Adani Total Gas has also corrected very, very sharply from its all-time high, and perhaps that is also a margin of safety in technical terms. All-time high that I see is somewhere like 1258. We're now at 623. Vaishali.
I would agree so. Right now, it is at a resistance level, a cluster of moving average resistance. So once we see this moving above 630, this could be good as a trading strategy, at least up to 700. Then we can have a relook, and the risk reward ratio over here is favorable. 600 should act as a stop loss.
Okay, all-time high, ladies and gentlemen, is 3,918. I correct myself on Adani Total Gas at the moment at 623. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the state of play as of now. 600 points higher on the Nifty, 1472 points higher on the Nifty Bank. IT 3 percentage points higher. This is the top performing major index today. 36,924, 1,000 points up is what the markets are telling us, and it's an across the board rally for the last 15-20 minutes. It's just continuing. You have the Nifty ITER index at 3% higher. Vineet, coming to you on the IT space, you've been negative on it for the last 18-20 months, and that trade has worked very well. Given the correction in prices that you've seen, anything that catches your fancy on the mid cap, small cap space?
See, a lot of the valuations have been tempered with, and we still expect a lot of valuation tempering to happen going ahead into the next few quarters. So, still staying away from them.
Okay, fair point. That's what is the view that is coming in from Vineet. Remember, the IT index has also corrected somewhere in the vicinity of 33 to 34% from its all-time high till its most recent 8-month low. And from then on, it's been either value buying or maybe buying for those people who really specialize in buying the dip. The index is up 11% in the last 1 month. A very quick look at the broader markets. What we see for the moment is a blowout. That's how you describe it. Advanced decline gets better. 2,276 shares are in the green versus 132 that are in the red. So it's all in all a space where the bulls are prancing and jumping and rejoicing on Dalal Street, and that's mainly because of the sensational victory that the Indian armed forces have clocked on Pakistan in this 4-day flare-up that happened on the border. And it's a complete decimation of the Pakistani military in terms of their air assets, their air bases, and a lot of their air defense equipment. And that's the reason why you see defense space in India coming up fairly sharply. 5% on Zen Technologies. Let's get Vineet into the conversation. Vineet, drone players. In this 4-day mashup, none of the armed forces of either side crossed their enemy's border and hit each other with drones and missiles. this is a new form of warfare which is now taking root. What do you think of it in stock market terms? Companies that may benefit? Vineet, this was for you. I think there is some issue with Vineet's connection. 9:45. We'll get him back. But what else is ticking and ticking on volume as far as Nifty is concerned? So sadly for the pharma stocks, it's a very, very bad day. Sun Pharma is down 4.5%, and the volume has already exceeded 1.5 times the 5-day average. Vaishali, another view on Sun Pharma now.
Yes, so I think it is holding on to 1620, and let's see, that could give a good bounce going towards 1700, 1750 then.
Okay, so let's see how it goes. But in terms of the daily chart, as far as Sun Pharma is concerned, this is I think a 2-month low. No, this is a 1-month low. Last time we've seen these prices is on 7th of April. So that's how it is. But will that be a swing trade in the making? Only time will tell. This is now close to its below 200 ADMA. So it's a gap down, and the stock has gone below 200 ADMA. So that's a very, very painful technical indicator for bulls. Let's see how it goes. In terms of volume, okay, for a change, Reliance stock futures are the top traded. Tata Motors following close behind, and well, Hindustan Aeronautics is the third top traded future as far as the F&O space is concerned. So that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. No let up in the markets, 600 points higher on the Nifty, 24,600 is with the bulls. This is a fresh 5-month high on the market. A 5-month high means that we've hit a new high for 2025. This price was last seen on 18th of December 2024. So a fresh move on the markets, and on the back of, ladies and gentlemen, a comprehensive military victory of the Indian Armed Forces over Pakistan, the kind of decimation that we have seen of its air bases, of its air defense infrastructure, many of its cities, including the headquarter Rawalpindi for the army, Islamabad, Lahore, Sialkot, you name it, India has hit it with impunity, and come back as a winner. So these are shots of the equipment that the Indian Armed Forces used for defense, which is Akash Tir, and for offense, that is BrahMos. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the day. Is Vineet with us, PCR? Acha, he's left for the day. Like I said, for all traders and investors, it's a very, very big day. So far the gains have held, and not only have they held, they have improved dramatically. 9:48, Vaishali. What looks good in the market? Anything that you want to comment on price action, volume action?
So I'm looking at IT stocks. I mean, there are quite a few persistent. A good buying opportunity comes also in KPIT technology. If you look at it, KPIT technology has come out of its range, and once we see the stock moving above, at least for a trading target, I think this can go towards 1350, and from there on, still further higher levels. Persistent 57, 800 target. New buying opportunity probably could be in Titagar rail system as well.
Okay. So a range breakout for KPIT Technologies. Remember, the stock was at 1189 somewhere in April, now at 1306. And I would like to just mention a background detail on KPIT Technologies. Foreigners were net sellers on KPIT for 3 months. But if you look at the data, that entire sell-off was absorbed by DIIs. Now, the price has also risen. Lest I leave it to your imagination what could happen to the stock. 9:49, 10 minutes left. Let's make a detour into the market. Let's look at the mid-cap space this time. As I had mentioned, the advanced decline ratio was phenomenally high. The Nifty mid-cap 100 index, let me just show you the kind of calisthenics that my software can do, I will make a market map for you. Okay. There are 85 stocks. So, Midcap 100 index, as the name suggests, has 100 shares. 85 stocks, ladies and gentlemen, are up more than 5%. My apologies, I am talking about the NSE 500. Let me just get back to the Midcap index. Okay. 15 stocks are more than 5% higher, among them Escorts, RVNL 6.8% higher. Suzlon is coming back 6% higher at 55.9. SGVN Ireda up 6% and 5.7% respectively. Motilal Oswal Financial Services, KPIT, HUDCO. These are stocks up more than 5%. Okay. The advanced decline overall is 95:5. For the mid cap 100, that's really big. Let's look at the small cap 100. It's even better. 29 stocks are up more than 5%, led by Triveni Turbine, 11% higher at 573. Sonata Software, 9% higher at 400. You have a strong move coming into Titagarh Wagon, something that Vaishali has marked. MCX is 6% higher. Vaishali, your view on MCX? We've had a fantastic set of numbers coming from them for the fourth quarter. The stock had unfortunately lost ground, but now back to its winning ways. What are the charts telling you?
So, well, there is a good inherent strength, still continuing to make a higher bottom formation. And today, from the support, it has risen high. So, I would say 5600 acts as a support. Near-term resistance would come at around 6400. Once we see the stock moving above 6400, in all likelihood, this can go towards 7000 levels. So, good buying opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Good buying. Okay. Good buying opportunity. Fine. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see the intraday chart of the Nifty. Right in the early part of the day, I had mentioned it will be a gap up and a trend, which basically means the Nifty will open higher and then continue to move higher. Now 24,650 is with the bulls, 640 points higher, and Vaishali's view of buying the Nifty after 15 minutes is still making you money. You heard this first on Business Today, and that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Chase momentum, especially after a very, very important day where India has won a strategic victory, a tactical victory, a political victory, and a geostrategic impact on its economy and on its markets has been phenomenally positive. Again, I'll go back to the biggest parameter that we track, which is the advanced decline number. How are stocks moving across the board? It's getting better and better. 2,282 stocks are on the green as far as the NSE is concerned, only 135 in the red, and amongst that 135, a vast majority are pharma companies. Defense is in top shape and it's going to get better and better as far as markets are concerned. 5% circuit on Zentech and Naib. Strong move coming into BEML, BDL, Cochin Shipyard, Garden Reach, Masgaon Dock, and of course BEL. Record highs, let's see, in the markets at this point of time on the NSE 500 are the same that we had touched upon. SRF, SIAT, BSE, Coromandel International. Would you give a view on Coromandel International, Vaishali? 2.3% higher at 2400 almost. Remember, normal and better monsoons are expected this time, so fertilizer makers will do well.
So, well, it does come in the overbought zone. So, if you are an aggressive trader, can buy with today's lowest stop loss because it's open with a gap up and it's sustaining. So, in all likelihood, this can still go higher, but well, one needs to put a stop loss.
Okay, we'll request the PCR to kindly show the chart of Coromandel International. That's the stock that we are discussing. It's gone up dramatically. Let's look at a monthly performance if we can get. No, we can't show you that. But Coromandel International will soon come on your screen. Okay, it's not available as far as our database is concerned. Okay, now markets are heating. There you have Coromandel International up 2 percentage points today. I will request the PCI to fire the longer term chart of Coromandel International. This has been a multi-bagger of repute, maybe a 5-year or a 3-year chart. You will see the kind of immense money people have made from the last 6 months alone. It is up 42%, and if you see a longer term chart, see 1.5 times since May 2023. If the PCR can push itself, you will see fabulous gains. 5 years, 3x. So that is how you make money, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the reason why we continuously highlight record highs. Stocks that hit record highs have quality balance sheets, strong ROC, strong ROE, strong ROA are the ones that multiply dramatically on your own portfolio. Okay, Vaishali, 24,674 on the Nifty, 665 points higher. This is you know, there is a technical term for a SU30 MKI, which is the Charlie maneuver. So what happens on Diwali, my apologies, on Republic Day on Vijay Path, Vaishali, is that a Su-30 MKI comes from probably Hindon Air Base or maybe Gwalior, and then right in front of the Rashtrapati it does a vertical Charlie and it goes twisting all the way up into the sky, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is happening on the Nifty today. A gap up of 350 points, and from those 350 points you've added another 300 thanks to a very, very strong rally that's happening across the board. And remember, today is the day when the entire Pharma pack is down. If they were flat zero, you would have seen the Nifty at 24,750, because 5 pharma stocks are a part of the Nifty as well: Cipla, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, so on and so forth. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the strength of the market, driven primarily by HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Reliance. These are the 3 super index heavyweights on the Nifty, and in the green is Axis Bank. Vaishali, you started your morning commentary with Axis Bank. Do you see it reclaiming its previous record high? I will request the PCR to kindly file a long-term chart.
So I would say, well, at least to look at 1250, because that needs to puck up. There's nothing wrong fundamentally. Also, I think the bank is doing pretty okay. So it at least needs to come towards 1250. From there on, we can have a relook. And I would say yes, because if overall Bank Nifty has to surge high, this too will have to participate.
Okay, this is how the markets are moving, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes left, and before Vaishali goes off, I am telling you, you will see 24,700 on the Nifty. This, there it is. Vaishali, I wish I could have asked something more from God today.
I wish we had known this on Friday. We would have all done something, right?
Well, if you check my Twitter account, I had mentioned that markets will rise dramatically, but we couldn't do anything because of Friday and Sunday. Sorry, Saturday and Sunday. For those sensible investors who bought the dip, ladies and gentlemen, on Friday, hats off, salute to you. It's now getting better and better, 3.5% higher at 24,711, ladies and gentlemen. The Nifty is now at its highest since 17th of December 2024. What a day. And we'll salute the Indian Armed Forces for that fantastic, comprehensive victory over Pakistan. The Indian Army, Navy and Air Force decimated the military setup of Pakistan, and the biggest thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from investors. A major hurdle is out of the way after Pahalgam, that dastardly strike on April 22nd. The markets were skittish all throughout, waiting for the response to come, and the response came from May 7th onwards. It just took the pants off the Pakistani military. It was a short, swift, comprehensive military victory, and over the weekend a ceasefire was struck on Indian terms, and there is a party happening on Dalal Street. 24,725, 3 percentage points higher on the Nifty. The Nifty bank is 3.10% higher, and the Nifty IT is 3.8% higher. Thank you, Vaishali. We'll let the lady have the final word on this show.
Thank you, Shel.
We'll call it a day, ladies and gentlemen. 10 o'clock, and I'll be back at 11 with more important news. But remember, you heard this first on Business Today, a gap up and then a trending day. Enjoy this rally and get ready for better and higher markets on Dalal Street. Have a nice day.